everybody, welcome to Rachel's Kitchen Table. Today we are going to make a very simple dessert that everybody loves. Yep, that's right, we're making churros today. Just a few ingredients and you guys can make these at home. The first thing we want to do is go ahead and turn our burner on to medium-high, and we are going to add water, 1 cup of water into a large pot. This is going to start our dough. Typically you don't do dough on a stove, but we will be doing dough on a stove today. Then you're going to add a tablespoon of granulated sugar and a teaspoon of salt. Excuse me, a quarter. And you're going to take a 1/4 cup of butter unsalted and just cut them into cubes and add those in. We're going to bring this to a boil and then we'll be adding our flour. You guys, while you're making your dough, you can go ahead and start your fry oil. And I have enough vegetable oil in my Dutch oven here to cover about 1.5 inches. That's all you need. And I went ahead and turned it on medium-high to get that started. We want it at 350 degrees. So what you would do is then take an instant read thermometer like this. And you're just going to temp your oil right in the center until it registers 350 degrees. That's when you know your oil is hot enough to fry your churros, but it's not so hot that it will burn them. If your oil continues to rise, you need to turn down your burner to maintain the 350 degree temperatures. And now we're going to add 1 cup of all-purpose flour right on in and stir that up. This is your dough. And you're going to turn the heat down to medium-low and cook until it forms into a ball. Make sure that you get all of that flour. You don't want any raw flour in your dough. That's gross. This is what your dough should look like. It's coming into a nice ball. It's pliable, but it still comes together nicely. We're still working out those final pieces of raw flour. All right, so then I'm going to transfer the dough into a large bowl. And we're going to let this dough cool for a few minutes, because about 5 minutes, because we're going to add an egg. And if you don't know what happens when you add an egg to hot things is it becomes scrambled eggs, and we don't want that. So we're going to let this dough cool. This is what your dough is going to look like when it's all said and done out of the Dutch oven. And then we're going to add the egg, add some vanilla, and then we're going to be ready to put our churros into the fry oil. Okay, so the dough is cooled and we are ready for the egg and the vanilla. So what we're going to do is put it into a either a standing mixer or an electric mixer, doesn't matter which. And we're just going to scoop that right on in. All right. And then we're going to add 1 egg and we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're just going to beat until it's incorporated. It will take a little while to come together, but it will come together. Just let it keep beating the egg and the vanilla with the dough. You can just see it coming together now. Okay, while that's coming together, in this bowl I have a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar and 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And we're just going to mix that together. You can whisk it, you can mix it with a spoon, whichever you prefer. I'm just going to mix it with a spoon. Just mix it until it's nicely incorporated. You have cinnamon sugar. That's still going, so we still have a little bit of time before that's done. All right, that's all mixed together. And it's all nice and brown and delicious. Can't wait. And I always put the cinnamon and the sugar in a large bowl so that the churros have room to move around and gather up all of that cinnamon and sugar goodness. Turn this down a tick. Jeez Louise. Just spread it in there like so. Once the churros have been fried and they've dried off on a paper towel the excess grease, then we're going to put it in here and we're going to roll them around. Alright, that is looking a lot better. You guys look at this. Starting to become another dough. Alright. So you guys, the dough is now done. It took probably about 8 minutes for it to come together completely. You're going to have like your loose ball of dough here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a churro maker, or if you don't have one, you can just use a piping bag with a 1/2 inch star tip on it. That will work just fine. I bought this because I didn't want to always have to go and get bags. This can just be cleaned and reused, so that was always nice. Okay, so you want to just shove the dough inside of the container here, or the canister here. You don't want to fill this thing completely because it will be very difficult to get the dough out of it and into the fry oil. So you just want to do it like halfway and push it. It's kind of a tight fit for your hand there. Okay, it's about halfway. And then I'm going to put this back in. Twist it on. And now it's time to check the temperature of the oil again. It wasn't quite ready the last time I did, so we're going to go over there and see if it's ready now. Okay, you guys, our oil is finally ready. It did take quite some time for that to heat up, but it's because I didn't turn the burner all the way up to high. I did it about medium-low, medium-high, just because I wanted it to gradually come up, and I didn't want it to get there too quickly while I was making everything else, so, you know. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to push this down and push. We're trying to go for about 6 inches of dough. There we go. Hold on, this is hard to do. There we go. Okay, and then we're just going to cut it off. And that's going to drop in that fry oil. And it's going to go for about 2 minutes per side. This is very difficult to do sometimes. Left hand's the winner. Ah! All right. Now remember not to crowd the pan. You only want a few in there at a time, just because that way they do cook evenly. Okay. You guys, that takes some muscle. Okay. Woo! So we're just going to watch these. I want to show you what they look like. Let's look at them. Look at those beautiful babies. They're going to be so good. Oh, I can't wait. Neither can my family. They've been dying for some churros all day. They said, "You're making churros?" I said, "I sure am." My husband, funny story, had never had a churro before. He was 32 at the time he told me this information. And I said, well, let's rectify that immediately. So we went to a Mexican restaurant and we ordered churros as our dessert. And as you probably know, some of them come just with the cinnamon and sugar, some come drizzled with chocolate, some come stuffed. Well, he had them drizzled in chocolate, but he said those were so good. But then he had them again because he said, okay, he's a changed man, and now he knows, he's in the know about the churros. And he said that he's never looking back. So he always gets a churro whenever we go to a Mexican restaurant. But his favorite are just the simple plain with, or unfilled with cinnamon and sugar on them. Those are his absolute favorite. Okay. That one's looking really good. You don't want them too dark because remember, these are when they start to cool down, they're going to really show their color. So don't be fooled in thinking that they're not done. When they are this color, they are done, and they will get a little bit darker as they cool. You want to dry them on paper towels. Get the excess oil off of them. And once they get that drain a little bit, then we're gonna throw them in that cinnamon and sugar. They need to be hot to do that in order for them to stick. There's 3. So we got 5 in this batch. All right, and so these ones are also done. So now I am going to, this one's still hot but ready to go because it needs to get in that sugar. So I'm going to do these 3. Have your churros here. You just want to toss it around. Feel free to coat them however you want. There we go, there we go. And there you have it. Crispy, crunchy, delicious churro. Okay, and I can't wait to try this because obviously it's a churro, so. Oh my god. So good. Tastes just like Disneyland. Think about that. If you've been to Disneyland, you know. And look at that inside. Oh, it's kind of blurry. Hold on. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see. It's kind of blurry, but that inside is so soft and delicious, and it's just churros, man. They rule the earth. All right, you guys. I'm going to finish making these churros. This was super simple. Oh, one other thing before I go. I told you guys, I believe I told you guys, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. No, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. I just wanted to clarify that before I left because if you made these and went, where's the vanilla? Well, that would have been my fault. I can't live with myself. So I really hope that you guys do try these because they are so good. They're easy to make at home. So rather than buying a box of them frozen, just make them at home. Super simple. The thing is, though, they don't reheat well. So make sure you eat them all in one sitting because that's where you're going to get your best results. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being with me today while I made churros. I hope you guys will make these for your family. It's super quick when you have people over that just stop by and you can whip it together really fast. Most of the stuff you typically have in your cabinets and refrigerator anyway, so plus you'll be the talk of the party. I promise. All right, you guys, thanks again. We'll see you next time. Happy eating. Bye.